Doug, the intersection is back open now, but it had been closed most of the day as police investigated, and it's been a difficult day here at this intersection. Just hours ago, it was filled with first responders, family members, and witnesses trying to make sense about what happened. A heart-wrenching start to the Thanksgiving holiday after 3 children were thrown from a car involved in a crash at the intersection of Lyell Avenue and Mount Read Boulevard Wednesday morning.
This was an incredibly difficult scene. Obviously our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of everybody involved.
The Rochester Fire Department says an 11-year-old child died at the scene and a 4-year-old victim died within minutes of arriving at the hospital. An 8-year-old is now battling critical injuries at Strong Hospital.
This is an incredibly distressing scene for everybody involved.
Rochester Police Commander Greg Bello says the woman in the car with the children was heading southbound on Mount Read, trying to turn left onto Lyell Avenue when their vehicle was T-boned by a northbound driver.
In terms of who had red lights, green lights, anything along those lines, that's where we're looking at cameras in the area. That's where we're doing our technicians, doing all the reconstruction to figure out what actually occurred.
The 2 drivers were hurt but are expected to be okay.
This is bothersome, right? Talking to first responders, the fire department, we're working on getting resources available for officer assistance program, employee assistance program, things like that going for the overall wellness of our officers, the fire department, any first responders, the ambulance personnel.
Investigators spent the day looking at surveillance video from nearby businesses and interviewing witnesses to try and determine what led to the crash. They say this is a tragic reminder for drivers to be vigilant when getting behind the wheel.
Right, as we go into holiday times and schools are open, there's a school right there on the corner, right? Obviously, we always got to be aware. I think there was a fatal accident with a pedestrian struck in Penfield last night as well. Right, everybody just pay attention to the road and watch out what's going on.
And with this being such a busy intersection, police say they have lots of witnesses to talk to and lots of surveillance video to go through from the nearby businesses. And it could take days to weeks to figure out what happened. And you might be able to see some people have set up some balloons and candles. There is a vigil scheduled to take place here in just about 2 hours at 7 o'clock.
Team coverage continues now. One man who was witness to the aftermath of that collision this morning spoke with 13 Whams. Jane Chaco.
Doug, a witness tells me he was at the traffic light on Mount Read Boulevard about to turn on Lyell Avenue when he saw tragedy unfold.
But I've gone through a lot of tragic things this year, and this one hits the top.
A man says he was on his way to his shop on Lyell Avenue, waiting at the intersection.
It was my wife and I in the car, and we were just talking casually, and we heard all of a sudden we heard a really, really loud boom. I did see the maroon red car, and it was spinning on the opposite side of Mount Read. That we were on, and it went through the median, and the car actually ended up behind us. I looked at my wife. I said, "Where'd the car go?"
After turning the corner and pulling over, he says he saw a car seat in the middle of the street, a backpack and shoes strewn across the road.
That baby who was in the car seat that was laying down on the ground.
While it's unclear what led to Wednesday's crash, the man we spoke with says this intersection can be dangerous, with drivers often speeding through yellow and red lights.
These are the type of things that happen when people are trying to beat lights. They're trying to beat lights.
And police are still investigating on whether each car was running through a red light when the crash happened and how fast each car was going at the time of the crash. Doug?
All right, Jane, thank you. And again, a prayer vigil is going to be held near the scene just about an hour from now. That's at 7 o'clock. We will have more coverage at 10 and 11 and the latest throughout the night on 13 Wham.
The Rochester woman who accused a Monroe County lawmaker of sexual harassment has filed a $1 million lawsuit.
They want this brushed under the rug and disregarded. I will not be ignored.
2 separate investigations validated those harassment claims. The lawsuit names Ernest Flagler Mitchell and Monroe County. 13 Whams. Jane Flash tells us why the woman behind it says she had no choice but to sue. Jane?
Lakeia Sinclair says she's seeking justice, and the only way she can get that after Monroe County and his lawmakers failed to take action is with this lawsuit.
I still live with the loss and the traumatic events that happened at my home. I still have not been able to grieve that.
Lakea Sinclair says she was 19, supporting her family, living out of her car, and afraid to go home after a mass shooting there left 2 people dead. The next day, she met the legislator for her district, Ernest Flagler Mitchell, who promised to help. He followed up with a series of text messages, then sent a sexually explicit photo of his genitals.
This man, a man of power, he tried to use and exploit me. I will not be used.
Flagler Mitchell admits he sent the photo, but that it was meant for his wife. An investigation by the district attorney found 12 additional women, some with similar claims. Yet it concluded there was not enough evidence for criminal charges. A separate board convened by Monroe County also found merit, but lacked the power to do little more than issue a report. Monroe County lawmakers tabled an ethics bill that would have allowed for a lawmaker to be censored or disciplined for sexual harassment.
Team Lakea has been talking with the county legislature for 6 months, almost 6 months now. Not a word except from one county legislator, Rachel Barnhart. Otherwise, it's been totally silent.
That's why we're here today, because I tried to do the right thing. Monroe County ignored me.
The lawsuit alleges continued stalking and harassing behavior and seeks $1 million in damages. Sinclair says it's her last avenue to what she's wanted all along.
We demand justice. We demand change. We demand you to do your job correctly, which you were elected to do.
That's right.
Now, reached today via text, Ernest Flagler Mitchell said he had no comment for our report. A spokesman for Monroe County Executive Adam Bello says the county does not comment on pending legislation.